welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Sam and I am the owner of two Etsy shops, Malia Stitches and Jocelyn's Comfy Apparel. We do kids t-shirts and adult t-shirts, and for today's video I'm going to show you how to layer vinyl, how to cut it out on your die cut machine. I'm using a Cameo 4. It's a Silhouette. We're going to use Silhouette Studio. We're going to use a heat press. We're using heat transfer vinyl, the smooth heat transfer vinyl, and I'm going to take you step by step on how to do that. So if you are wanting to learn how to layer vinyl like this, where you use multiple colors, stick around and I'll show you. Okay, so here we are. Malia's down here playing too. So here we are in Silhouette Studio. I have my design pulled in. This is going to be for a shirt that is a 6T or 6 Youth 6 here. I'm using an AJ blank shirt, and so I made my design at 7.5 inches tall by 6.5 inches wide. So here we're going to have to mirror it, so I'm going to right click and mirror, flip horizontally. There you go. For those that don't know how to bring designs into Silhouette Studio, you click here on the file. If you have the design saved onto your computer, you'll click whatever folder it's saved in, find the design, click OK, and it'll upload it into Silhouette Studio. Here, I do that every time I get a design. I do that, upload it into Silhouette Studio like this, and then I go and save it to my library. So I have everything saved on my Silhouette Studio library, so I don't have to try and hunt down all the files I have saved on my computer as well. And this also gives you kind of a visual thumbnail, whereas on your computer files it does not. It's just the looks like this. So that's just something I do. You don't have to do that. I'm more of a visual person, so it works better for me that way. So here I have the design to the size I want, and I have it mirrored. I'm going to hit send to the machine. And it's not registering that my machine, here it goes. It's connecting now to my machine down here. And as you all know, I like to cut my things using the fill tab. Again, it's more of a visual thing for me. That's why I like to use that. So we're going to go ahead and cut the blue first. So I'm going to make sure it's checked mark, but uncheck the red. And I'm going to make sure right here that it says heat transfer smooth, because that's the... Shh. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to make sure this says heat transfer smooth, because that's the material I'm using. And then I have the auto blade. So you check, make sure both of those say that. And then here in the actions, again, you want it to say heat transfer smooth, and that you're cutting and you're using the auto blade. For my machine, I like to set my pressure at 3 and then up my force to like 12 or 13. This works best for my machine. Everybody's machine is probably going to be different, so what works for me may not work for you. You can just play around with these settings and then hit this test, and it'll cut out a little triangle shape with a square, and if you're like up here in the right hand corner or the left hand corner, it'll cut it out for you. And then just test how well that weeds out for you. If it doesn't cut all the way through and you're struggling getting that triangle and square separated, then you need to add more. If it's cut all the way through your transfer sheet, then it's too strong. So you need to back off on some of these settings. So you just have to test it out and see what works best for your machine. So we are going to go and set up the blue color on the machine, and we're going to go set up the blue on the mat and put it into the machine and cut it out. So here we are over where my machine is. I have a Cameo 4. So that's what machine I use. This, you can cut it out on any, if you have a Cricut, you can do the same thing with Cricut. I just don't have Cricut, so I'm not able to explain everything that goes along with the Cricut version. But, so like I said, the design, Malia was playing with this, so now it has hair all over it. I'm trying to clean that off. So my design was 7.5 inches, so I cut my blue piece at 8 inches, and then of course it's a 12-inch piece, so I just cut the whole strip at 8 inches, and if I'm lucky I can maybe get 2 designs cut out of this piece here. So I fold it up, and I had it backwards here. I like to fold it up. You're gonna put shiny side down, which the shiny side is the cover sheet or the transfer sheet. I like to fold it up so it doesn't like stick to my mat while I'm trying to put it on here. So I fold it up a little bit, line it up. Smooth it on like this. Hopefully you saw that. So these purple mats I got from Amazon. They're the strong grip mats. I don't recommend getting the strong grip mats for vinyl. The vinyl is very hard to get off of this. Maybe a light grip or medium grip would be okay, but the strong grips I don't recommend. I won't buy this one again anyway. So you're just going to load it up to the machine. Get you a little bit closer to the machine here. Oops, sorry. And make sure you're lined up, your mat's lined up with this line. And then you're going to hit the load button. And then we're going to go back over to the computer and hit cut. So we're back over at the computer. I'm going to make sure that my blue area, this highlighted area, is within the length of my vinyl that I have set on the machine. So each one of these squares is an inch square. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm good there. Because remember I cut it at 8 inches long. So that is good. And you're going to hit send and it's going to yell at you. It's going to say some of your lines are overlapping the cut, and that is okay because you're not cutting out. It's registering the whole design, not just the color you're cutting out. And so here you can see the color that I'm cutting out is within these red lines here, so we're good. We're going to hit cut anyway, then we'll go back to the machine and watch it cut out. It's done cutting, it'll spit it out like that, and then you have to hit the unload button to get it all the way out. I don't know if you can see the lines, but it is cut. We're gonna take this off. Again, like I said, this is an extra sticky mat, so it is hard to peel it off. So you can just watch me struggle. I'm just gonna start at the corner Get as much of this going as I can. Then I'm going to flip the mat over and try and pull the mat away from the vinyl. Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to cut away the extra because I don't need that. Then I will put this in my scrap pile and maybe be able to use it for another design. Okay, so here's our blue. We have to cut out one more color. So let's go over to the machine or the computer and do that. So ideally, you would then adjust your picture so that you have all the red in there, like this. Just click and drag it. Then you would unclick your blue, click the red, make sure all your settings are the same, load your red color up onto the mat and hit send, and it will cut it out. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a piece of red vinyl that is big enough just to do it that way, so I'm going to have to kind of piece my vinyl on the mat so that it will fit in this area to cut out these pieces. So this will be a little bit trickier for me to kind of, basically I'm going to fussy cut. If you're a quilter, you know what that means. Just fussy cut my vinyl to fit into this design. So let me go get my mat and I will try and do that with you guys just as an example. That way you know how to do it as well. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this where you can see both the computer screen and this at the same time. I know the lighting's not the greatest, sorry about that. But on the screen, each little square is a 1-inch square, and then on your mat, each little square is a 1-inch square. So for the first portion, the upper portion of this design, we need 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches of vinyl going down, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's hard to do it. So at least 6.5, maybe 7 inches going across. So I don't even know if I have enough to do that. Let's see. So we said 4.5 going down. Okay. Then 6.5 going across, or 7. So that would be that. So I'm going to just cut this here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Sorry if you can't.
I can.
Okay. So it's not pretty cut, but that will work. Cut this piece off because it's just extra. Oops, whoops, whoops.
Bye-bye, mouse.
Throwing things around. Okay. So these pieces down here fall in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6.5 box down to the 8. So I need to make sure that this is not falling into, this piece is not falling into that piece. We're going to cut this piece at 5 inches so that it is not falling into this area, because I'm going to have to add a new piece there. Okay. Put this off, I don't need it. So this is roughly 2.5 inches by 2 inches wide. So let's cut these at like 2 inches. I'm just rough cutting it. Okay, okay. And then we're going to make sure that it falls in side the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this is block 6, so we need to make sure it's at the at least the top of block 6, going all the way down to block 8, the end of block 8. So I'm over here. Here's my 6. Here's my 8. So I want to make sure this is covering both those blocks. There, and then the same on this one. It will need to be block 6 to block 8, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is block 6 over in block 7. Yeah.
You want a big juicy cheeseburger, Josie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're gonna set that
I'm going
right
to
there.
need the sewing machine.
So, okay. So with this, hopefully you can see, this should cover the K, the 2 basketballs, or baseballs, I'm sorry, the 2 baseballs and the bat. And then this part should catch the lines, the red lines here. So the upper part will catch this, the lower part will catch that. So let's go take it to the machine and cut it out. Right. So if we laid this out correctly, it will cut all those pieces out and say, just say a little prayer that you did it right. Let me go press cut on the machine. Okay. Alright, I don't know if you can see the cut lines, but it cut everything out where it needed to be. So now we just need to weed all these out. This customer also wanted a name, so I'm going to cut that out next. And I'll have all the pieces ready to weed out here in just a minute. Okay, so this customer did want a name added to the design, and the original design I don't have personalization other than the grade of this design because it's a back to school design, but I figured I would bring you along and show you how I just create a font design here. So you're going to click this A over here in the corner, then you're going to double click wherever on your mat, then type out the name or whatever you want it to say. And then you're going to click off of it, and we're going to change the color up here just so, like, again, it's more of a visual thing for me. I don't like to see the red cut line, so I'm going to make that go away. So I'm going to try and match the font best I can with the font here. So we'll click on this, and you can find your fonts either up here like this in this drop down, or you can go here to the font panel over here on the right, and then here's all your fonts over here as well. And Josie's sewing, so don't mind the sewing machine noise. So I'm just going to go through what fonts I have. I have these cool, maybe I should do one of these. That's a baseball one. It's kind of a varsity font, and then it has the baseball lace there. Scoot it over. So again, you have to make sure it's within the size you want. So gonna make it like an inch. Or I can make it bigger than that. Because the design is 6.5 inches wide. So we can make this 6.5 inches wide.
Did I find the other towel?
I didn't find it, no. And let's make it by 1.5 inches. This way. It's hard to do. I dropped my mouse and I'm being lazy instead of trying to just picking it up and getting it, but okay. So we'll close out of this panel here. This white area, you can adjust that. For some reason mine isn't filling up the whole 12 by 12, but you can adjust that here by clicking this little paper up here, and where it says media size, it's clicked on custom. You can click that to 12 by 12 and it'll do the whole thing. I don't know, I think it's probably because I really don't know why it shrinks down to that size, but anyways, that's changeable as well. Just side note. So we are going to mirror this, flip horizontally, and then send. And again, for my visual liking, I'm going to click fill and make sure it says heat transfer smooth. Here, heat transfer smooth, auto cut, auto blade, and then I'm going to adjust this again. And then we will send it and have it cut it out. Okay, so while this is cutting out, I wanted to specify the customer did not give me any specifications on what color they wanted the name to be, what font they wanted the name to be. They gave me the free range to do that on my own, so that's why I did it that way. If the customer was specific on what they wanted, then of course we would be more specific on to incorporate their wants for the item. But this customer did not have any specifics other than please add the name, so that's why we did it this way. So we'll just let this cut out, and then once it's done, we'll come back and start weeding everything. Okay, so with weeding, you just take away what you don't want left on the picture. What you do want on the picture needs to stay. And really, that's your choice, depending on the design, how you want to design it. So that's all I'm doing, is just taking away the area of the design I do not want left behind. Okay, so now we are over at the heat press. I've got all my pieces weeded out, and I've got my shirt up here on the heat press. You can fold your shirt in half and press it. First you want to press all the wrinkles out, which I did, or in the area you're going to have the design. Then you can fold it in half just to kind of get a center point. You can press it like this, but I'm just going to finger press it, I think, because it's still warm. And you can see my line there. Alright, and then I think I want to, you'll have to decide which piece you want to put on here first. With layering, it's a little tricky. I think I want to put this piece on first, but I know there's going to be a little bit of extra at the top. So I'm going to take this, the back side's sticky. We're going to fold it in half so the sticky is still on the outside. This is just getting your centering point on your transfer here. So I'm lining these two letters up as closely as I can. Then I'm just creasing the carrier sheet, not creasing the vinyl, and that should give you kind of a centering point there. And you'll line that up with the centering point of your crease in the shirt. Now, this is the main body piece of the whole design, so that's why I chose that one first. Some layering, it depends on how it layers on top of each other, whether what will be the deciding factor on which color or which piece you use first. So I'm going to set that there, and then I'm just going to kind of eyeball this to make sure that this isn't going to be too high on the shirt, and it looks pretty good. You can also measure. Some people measure like 3 fingers down from the neckline, or 3 inches down from the neckline, or 2 inches down from the neckline. I am going to bring it up just a tiny bit more because I do have to add the name. And then I'm going to double check this, make sure it's not going to be too high, and it's not. Okay. Make sure it looks straight. You can, let me get a ruler here. You can measure the edge of the writing to the edge of the shirt and make sure that it's equal on each side. 3.5 there. And 3.5 there, so we're pretty good. Then you're going to take your Teflon sheet, put it over top your design. Then, according to the instructions that come with the Siser Easy Weave vinyl, let me show you here. This is what instructions, here we go, came with my Siser Easy Weave. Use those instructions to press. So it says you can set your temperature to 305 and press for 10 to 15 seconds. So I've got mine set at 300, so I'm going to press for 10 seconds. I don't want to press too long because we're just setting this first layer in place, kind of tacking it down. You don't want to press each layer for the full time because the first layer set down, you're going to press for 15 seconds. Then when you put the next layer down, everything's getting pressed again for 15 seconds. And this vinyl shrinks as it heats up. So you don't want to press it too long, just long enough to tack it down a little bit. And you take your carrier sheet off. Now you take your next layer, line it up where you want it. So I can actually, I think I can press all of these here. Just kind of eyeballing it. If you want to be more precise, you're welcome to do that. Also, another thing, when you're pressing the layers, your carrier sheet will also press into the previous layer that's down, so you'll have lines in there if you press too long. So you don't want lines in your vinyl from your previous press. So we'll do this one maybe 5 or 6 seconds. Pull this up. Test it, make sure it wasn't pressed long enough, so we can press it again. 5 or 6 seconds. think this red that I have is actually a cool peel. I have to give it a second. This red that I'm using is a different brand. I don't remember what the brand is, but some brands you can peel right away, some you can't. Some are a cold peel, so I think this red is a cold peel. That's why it's not peeling very well. There we go. I'm just going to give this another little press real quick, just to make sure that red is nice and secure. I didn't realize I didn't grab the Siser Easy Weed red. Okay. And now we're going to add the name at the bottom. So same thing, you're going to fold it in half, line up your edges of the letters and crease it, and then we'll set it down here and line it up the best we can. Make sure it looks even, make sure it looks clean. I don't know if you can see that, I'll bring it in a little bit closer. Looking pretty good. So I'm going to press this now. I'm going to go ahead and press it for a full 15 seconds. Because that cover or transfer sheet doesn't hit any of the other vinyl on the shirt. So it should be good. 15 seconds. Take this off. And you are welcome to press it one more time if you wanted to, but I think that is all we need. So there you go. All right, everybody, here it is, all completed. It turned out real cute. My name goes well with it. It's really cute. If you guys have any questions on how to layer vinyl, please leave those in the comments below. This is just another example. With vinyl, you do not have to just do it with one color. You can do multiple colors. You can do 3 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors, whatever you want. You just have to cut each color out separately on your Cricut on your Cameo, on your die cut machine, and layer it, one color at a time or one section at a time. However you, whatever works best for you. It's just really user preference. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. So. There you are. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye!